Hello, this is the Nerd Dungeon here. I'm Spencer, joined
Hef?
um, kind of a short show for today. Holidays and everything are cutting into everyone's schedule, and we're going to be talking about a little bit news at the start with what's been going on in the past couple of weeks, and see where it goes from there. So, first thing I want to bring up is Smash Brothers came up and got released, so everyone's happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
Connor and I have been putting a lot of time into Smash Brothers and just going through the World of Light, playing what we call tape knife and doing all that good stuff. But there are some small little tidbits about Smash and a little bit of controversy there.
Yeah, funny. I mean, I never been a big fan of Smash because last time I actually played was N64.
Wow, that is a long
It's just,
time
I don't know.
ago.
It just, so for some reason, fighting mechanics, I just never got behind. But I'm like, it's cool. People enjoy it. They got things. And it looks interesting, but I was like, wow, they handled the online thing kind of
Yeah,
stupid.
yeah,
There's so many words you can put there. It's like they pulled Bethesda.
Uh, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So now we're even paying for the service, and it's just as bad as it was when it was free. Uh, yeah, the whole being able to go into a lobby and just try and put your preferred rule set and then never get it and just get randomly put into different lobbies is a real bummer. But there is another caveat to that. So if you make your own lobby and people join and you lose, you can get kicked to the side and you have to wait for your turn to get back into the matches.
You can't even leave.
Well, you can leave and make a new lobby, but it's like you get basically kicked to the side in the lobby that you are hosting. Like you hosting it. This is
Wow.
yeah. And the lack of being able to play certain modes with friends, with having 2 players on, you can only play 2v2. No joining 8-player smashes with 2 people in the same system, or doing free for all with 2 people in the same system. But another controversy around Smash. Apparently, there was a shooting threat, quote unquote, on the release date of Smash.
Yeah, this was about in Clinton County in Ohio.
Yeah, so a bunch of kids, I guess, were really excited about Smash Brothers coming out, and to kind of have their own thing, they drew on a whiteboard December 7th, time to smash symbol. They didn't put time to smash, they just put the smash symbol, and someone interpreted it as a crosshair.
Even though it's kind of like not really a crosshair, it's kind of like a T one.
You know, maybe they just thought
it's a crosshair if you want to miss.
it's a crosshair if you're aiming with the wind against you and you're like shooting really far away.
Or you have one eye and this one just goes that way.
But yeah, they shut down the entire school on December 7th because they thought that some kid was going to shoot up the school. And then after tons of police investigations and stuff, they determined it was the release of Super Smash Brothers.
I can imagine the cop that was actually researching that, just looking up that, trying to find anything that related to that logo and just start busting laughing.
No, I can imagine what happened is like the school calls up the police like, hey, we need you to do an investigation, see if like you can find out something about this, if there's any like links to students and what they might be doing. And the cop just goes into the room, looks at the board, and says, that's Super Smash Brothers.
It kind of reminds me. I think it was on Reddit. I saw someone else that they were kind of related to this. Well, not a school shooting, but like somebody's like these people playing Smash too loud. Cops were called over, and then these cops started playing Smash with them.
Yeah.
So at least I mean, granted, it's unfortunate because it's a scare. It's going to be costly for the fleet's resources and everything. But
yeah.
but then again, shooting a logo that looks like a target reticle or the crosshairs isn't like the brightest idea either. It's not. Not a lot of people. I mean, Smash. If you get it, but in the school, it's probably not the best idea.
That is completely true, and I'm wondering like how it turns out for the kid who drew it. Like, did they find him? Did they just like be like, oh well, we're just gonna dismiss it, or did the kid get in trouble? Did he just be like, hey?
I don't know. I don't know. They didn't say.
Yeah, I think in the article it doesn't disclose
if
exactly.
they found them. I think it just kind of like, and I imagine they're not gonna say shit because back in high school, they kind of think I'm like, nope.
Well, Tommy over there drew that symbol. Well, Tommy, you scared everyone and made us close down the school. We're gonna suspend you. Okay, I'm just gonna play Smash.
Well, it's unfortunate. At least no one's hurt or cops didn't freak out or something, But it's just like,
yeah, it could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
But gladly it just had like a small little hiccup for the day. And time for another little mess up in the world of gaming. Well, I don't know if it's a mess up exactly, but Fallout. We have more Bethesda
What?
news.
Bethesda never did anything wrong small. It's just a perfect game. All these people are haters. They're just haters.
We're like the biggest haters of Fallout 76, I guess.
Because last week when we missed, it was a whole data breach apparently.
Yeah, a data breach where if you filed tickets for Fallout support with Bethesda.net or whatever it's called, there was a chance that you might be made into a customer support representative on accident. And you would be able to open and close tickets for people.
If I don't have Fallout 76, but if I had that and I was drunk, I'd probably been having fun with like, what's the problem?
What's your
Have
problem?
you tried nuking yourself?
Have you tried typing in the code to make yourself go into God mode?
You know what you should do? See that ridge over there? Jump off it. It'll restart your game.
But courtesy of the Fallout Reddit user Jess Main, we also have information that there is code for lunch boxes in Fallout 76. If you've played Fallout Shelter, you know that lunch boxes are used to get item drops and characters, armor, and pets for Fallout Shelter, which is a major thing in progression. When you look for the code inside the Fallout 76 ESM, it is also tagged with the ATX tag, which is the Atomic Shop tag, meaning they were intending to make them purchasable. And I don't know if the lunch boxes were going to have like progression stuff. That sounds a lot like loot boxes.
Yeah. It's just okay. Now I'm going to take a step back for Fallout 76. All right. So you got a game without any actual NPCs.
Okay.
Very buggy. It's had a rough start.
Okay.
A really rough start.
Mm-hmm.
Your progression, people seem to like. Some people have fun. Some people seem to get bored after a while. When they don't have errors or server shutdowns or et cetera, et cetera.
Don't bust out 3 nukes at once or else you'll crash the whole server.
So now it's basically looking like there's almost a pay to win or pay to play or whatever that concept is.
Yeah.
It's like, how much does Fallout 76 actually retail? I never actually looked at that. Is that like say 40 or 60?
I believe it was 40. It's dropped down really low now. It's like you can basically get it like anywhere. Like if you're going to a brick and mortar shop that isn't GameStop or any of that, you'll see it on their bargain bin because no one's buying it. It's that bad.
And you can't return it.
You can't return Fallout 76. It's a terrible game. I mean, it's a
technically I feel okay vindicated pirating it. just pirating the damn thing.
Yeah.
Does it have DRM? Because
they messed up on a whole bunch of stuff. Well, I don't know if they even put DRM in it.
Maybe that's the one thing they did right.
I don't remember seeing a single article saying that Fallout 76 has de novo, so maybe no DRM for you. Well, they do have it only sellable on PC through their Bethesda client.
Yeah.
So I guess that might be their way of
That's
DRM.
technically, yeah. Oh, man. It's just, okay, so.
But remember microtransactions and loot boxes in Call of Duty Modern Warfare or whatever the new one's called? The loot drop comes from the sky inside the home base, opens up, and displays your loot.
Yeah.
Everyone sees it.
Is this a similar way, or?
Yeah, so the code for the lunchboxes actually has an animation event, and it's got a radius of how long, like how far the pop-ups appear and everything, and it shoots out confetti, and there's even a jump animation that was tied to it. So when you open a lunchbox inside of the code-wise that isn't implemented right now, it would basically be like, hey guys, look at me. I got this cool stuff. Look at my cool animation. You can see what I got.
It makes you a target.
Yeah, it would make you a target, but it also
that'd be like a nightmare, like in say PUBG.
PUBG, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, PUBG has a drop down like that. H1Z1 had it. I don't remember if Rust had drop downs.
I don't think so. But
you know what I'm talking about. It's like every rushes for that. That even makes you a bigger target that people know what the fuck you're getting.
Yeah, but with Fallout 76, all PvP is initiated on both sides.
Okay, so you have to enable it.
So, well, no, like it's like I hit you and then you hit me back, and then we can start PvP.
Oh, but if I don't hit back, then nothing happens.
Yeah, I could hit you all I want.
It'll still do damage.
Happen. No damage.
Okay.
So I'll be like.
I misunderstood because I thought it was gonna be like it's kind of like where you're as defaultly on.
No. So I could shoot you with the strongest shotgun in the game, and just like it'd be like a normal one shot, one kill. But if you don't shoot me,
I'm kind of wondering now. Like, say if someone's going to learn, they actually do go through with that. Do they have stated ways to protect from hackers? Because I'm just into the whole GTA 5 online thing going on, where people hacking the shit out of that to stand invisible through these loot boxes.
Well, hacking in nukes is the ultimate goal inside of Fallout 76.
Oh, and there was a site selling the nuke codes, I think.
Nope. So nuke codes get updated every week, but it's the same across all servers, and it's for the entire week.
So the first time someone that gets it can reveal it to everyone else then.
Yep, they just posted it on Reddit. All 3 nuke codes. Just gotta go find it. And they're in rotating locations. So you go to the one location. Oh man, is the nuke there? Oh, the nuke's here. Let's try all 3 different codes. Okay, this one worked. I'm good.
I really hope Bethesda gets this out of the system before Elder Scrolls 6, because wow.
Oh, don't you know?
Loot boxes for oh fuck.
Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna be, they've only shown a little bit, but guess what? It's gonna be Skyrim with multiplayer and loot boxes, and you're gonna be able to, build.
I think at that point I'd rather go play the Skyrim on Amazon Alexa.
Alrighty. So, I think that is all for our
news
of the week.
Here's a storm.
Oh, here's the storm.
Blizzard Activision fucks up.
Well, the disconnect between Blizzard and its fan base has become slightly more apparent this year with the whole Diablo fiasco, and this past week they announced that they are pulling developers off of the Heroes of the Storm MOBA.
Which people already are saying is the death of Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
But the other problem with this announcement was they pulled the esports. They canceled the esports things.
Yeah, they canceled Heroes of the Dorm and their Pro Series for this year. That is, for next year.
They didn't tell the people active into this, so that people found out they lost their jobs at the same time people found out the news. Their communication was, I guess, Blizzard, they were just reading reports like Blizzard's, their communications, when things are going good, it's great. When things are going bad, nothing.
How would you like to wake up one day and then your entire world gets ripped from underneath your feet? You don't have a job anymore. You don't have the ability to just be like, hey, I can go into work at my, at another place because the other place is fully staffed already.
Yeah, because and this is not just the managers, coaches, the players. It's also like the people producing the sports and everything. Because those people in the entertainment things are going to now have to go find other things to do. Granted, they can. It just kind of like, okay, you thought you had these gigs cemented for this upcoming year, and suddenly, nope.
Yeah.
But I guess that's also like I always felt like esports was always kind of risk gamble unless you something say like the whole thing built over StarCraft tournaments. That was solid.
Yep. But yeah, I would feel devastated.
I'd be pissed.
So you don't make much doing esports when you're actually doing it. You're always on tour. You have to, spend money all the time on just like different things.
Yeah, because like for example, with Total Biscuit or John Bain, when he had Axiom, I remember like they were in the hole basically. Now that was their StarCraft 2 league team, and that ran for a couple of years, and they finally said we had to cut it because it just we loved doing it. It just was financially a burden.
Yep. And imagine all those players
and the stress too. Sorry, and the stress too, because like, another YouTuber, Jesse Cox. Like he did a Heroes of Storm thing. He quit because he's like, this is too damn stressful.
But yeah, the Heroes of the Storm players, they're out of jobs. They were
and that because they're not the top of the MOBAs anyway. Because it's like Dota tried, but it's not Dota 2 or League of Legends at all.
Yeah, so they're out of jobs. They basically lost the streamer houses, from what I'm guessing, because now you don't have any means of actually playing unless you just switch to Hearthstone. But those houses are supposed to be for teams to play together on, Here's the Storm. And they have plenty of influencers already on their other, games for their platform. So
it's a gamble with that industry though, unfortunately too, because it's like if you're not doing that good or your support's pulled, you're fucked.
Yep. So I feel sorry for them.
Yeah, that really is unfortunate. I mean, that's really dick move Blizzard just to,
But hey, they're putting more developers on other projects like, I don't know, Diablo Immortal.
Yay.
Who knows? We might get Diablo Immortal on PC because they're pulling all their developers from a PC game.
I mean, well, technically they've done the pulling developers before, and it's understandable. But all together at once, and because, it feels like Here's the Storm was a big push. I played it personally. I don't like MOBAs at all. I tried even Heroes because I like Blizzard properties, but I'm like I'm bored.
My experiences with Heroes of the Storm was so simplistic that I didn't want to play it. Like I got up to gold rank, and then I was like, I don't want to go that much further. I don't want to play. This is still not a challenge. This isn't League of Legends. Mind you, I've never been a big Dota player because I was introduced to the MOBA genre as League. And when
I know the difference between,
Yeah, so when I started playing Dota for the first time, I was like, this feels awkward. But I understand, like, people who like Dota too.
Yeah, because people are hardcore for actually both games. Like, personally, it's like, neither game's my thing, but I'm not going to judge. It's like, cause I got burnt out the multiplayer stuff in MMOs with bad pugs and stuff. Playing the rather, tank, heal, or DPS. I'm like, okay, I'm burnt out totally. I'm going to do my thing and fuck around. And, like, that's a huge stress to be doing those 3 lanes and stuff. Like, I can watch it, and I can respect it, but I can never do it because I'd just be raging. I'm like, why aren't you doing this?
The MOBA genre is a whole bunch of team communication. So playing pugs...
Yeah, because you got it. Pugs is a nightmare. I mean,
pugs is definitely the nightmare of that genre, which is why, when you look at, professional sports teams,
they have teams work together.
They have teams that work together. They live together. They practice together.
I mean, it's entertaining to watch. Like, even like I watched like some StarCraft tournaments, and like that's like it's really weird to compare it to a sport, but it is in a way you're just not being totally active physically. You're more mentally and physically handheld. Hand-eye coordination and mentally planning and coordination with your teammates. Because run wrong move, you're fucked.
You got to manage your APM.
That's unfortunate. I mean, I hope they find something, or because I know some teams restructuring, and it's just
All right.
Stupid Blizzard.
Blizzard, Bethesda, come on. Come
Stop
on,
being
guys.
Konami. Stop. Don't be Konami. Don't be Ubisoft. Don't be EA.
Hey, EA might actually not be the worst company this year.
I think we just someone should register by a fruit basket if they don't. Because there's what? It's what, 2 or 3 years straight now?
Yeah. But here's the thing. Anthem looks good. Anthem, from everything they've shown, doesn't have much monetization at the start.
Give them time.
I feel like they're gonna add it.
Every developer is.
But they say that it's only gonna be cosmetic.
Because every developer wants this whole monetization. They want to make games a live service. It just seems as it's like killing what's the point of playing a game when I feel like I'm paying for a subscription for something than paying more to get better versus all my skill, my time put into it. I don't want to pay money to be better. I'd rather it's either I do it right or I fuck up.
That is completely understandable. Another game that is very much like that, I don't know if you've heard of it, Starlink.
Is that just released or is that...
It was released not too long
okay.
ago.
I get confused. I get confused with the other one that Bethesda's making. Star Citizen or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
Starlink. I know is that Switch now too, I believe?
Starlink is on all consoles. It's a toys, like a Toys to Life game.
Oh, was that like what was that called?
Like Skylanders.
Yes.
So in Starlink, what you do is you buy the base game and they give you a spaceship and weapons to mount on it, and then you basically touch it to your Switch, and then your Switch is like, hey, this is the weapons that you have for your ship, and this is your ship.
Oh, that's right, because they're
So-
putting Star Fox properties into that.
Yep.
And
Star
by the
Fox
way-
is a big part of the story on the Nintendo Switch.
Just correct myself. Starfield was the game I was thinking of from Bethesda.
Starfield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, our
So-
neighbor's kind of loud.
So with Starlink, different weapons have different elemental properties, and certain enemies are weaker or stronger against these properties. But you don't get everything you need inside of the starter pack for the game. So you're
Still going to have to play and get...
There's no playing to get these parts. You have to buy them. So you have to buy a new ship with new weapons each time you want to get special
With physical money or in-game?
With physical money. You get the toy. And then you put the parts together and you touch it to the game, and now you've got a new ship. Or the new weapons on your ship.
But they're constantly reusable.
Yeah, they're constantly reusable, but every time that you want to change up how your ship is,
You buy something new.
you gotta spend $15 to get your new stuff. Mind
Not a
you,
fan.
all this stuff is in the bargain bin now.
Yeah.
The game is not doing well, because it's another Toys to Life, and parents I think are really burnt out on the Toys to Life.
Because I
system.
the Amiibo stuff, never got. Kind of want to get some of the cheaper Zelda stuff for Breath of the Wild, but that's another story. I don't have money for that. I mean, that thing's cool because it's cosmetic. I'm okay with cosmetic, but the whole, it's like
The whole weapons.
yeah, it's just like it's just weird because you pay. Because it first felt like my frustration with Hearthstone because you keep paying for these decks. Then after a while, I'm like, I feel like I'm paying 10 times the amount of a normal game to get the same enjoyment.
With Hearthstone, I feel a little bit different because I've been playing Magic for a long, long time. In my time of playing Magic, I will say that I've spent over $300 on cards. And
But
that's just
there's still
new
the
expansion.
physical cards you have.
Yeah, physical cards I have.
Because
And
Hearthstone, that's I'm spending on
it's
fucking around.
It's all digital. But
Granted, I'm bad with buying mounts of shit for a while with the story.
But the thing is, it's a card game. I'm used to that. That comes with the territory, and I'm not too angry at Hearthstone for monetizing card packs because their value system isn't obscene because of the rarities are set in stone. You can't just pay money to get a rarity. While in Magic, it's like, oh, I want this card. Oh man, it's a mythic rare, and everyone loves it, and it's amazing. How much does it cost if I go to the store to get it? It might be $20. It might be $50. It might be $200 for Jace Mind Sculptor, who's out of standard. And I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, because weren't some of the meeples going that high at the one time?
Amiibos, back when they were on low stock, some of them would sell for like $100.
Okay, that's right. That's remember. Cause I'm like, remember some of those were going pretty high.
But yeah, Hearthstone. If you need a card, you don't have to buy packs. I've been playing Hearthstone without spending any money. I've got some decks that are pretty nice. I've gotten up to like rank 15 inside of there, and I'm like, I'm still not top tier, but I'm working my way up, getting cards to make my decks better, and it's not too bad. But say if I had spent like $50, there's a chance I might get that one card I want that could bring my decks together, and I'm like, yeah, that's good. And I'll get a whole bunch of other cards that give me the variety of play to be able to do whatever I want. And it's a weird balance with card games and monetization, I think. But for games that are directly tied to like the amount of power you have versus your skill, because Hearthstone, it's all about skill.
Yeah.
You could have a deck with all these...
But if you don't know how to use a deck, it's kind of worthless.
Yeah, it's completely worthless if you don't know how to use it. It's not like you get a card that says, hey, you win the game. But
what was it? This is back in early Hearthstone. I remember I was a big fan of like the warrior weapons deck. The rogue ones, I played around with those. I forgot the names of them, but there's a few little variations you can have of those. But basically, you're trying to just get the... Was it the combo cards?
Combo cards that do damage and all that
because so
stuff.
you can just get that constantly where you just smash the shit out of them. I remember like when they first introduced the Yogg-Saron card, I love the effect of that. But then after a while, it's like okay.
But yeah, like this goes back to Battlefield 2, Star Wars Battlefield 2, when monetization actually meant that you had a huge advantage on other people. When you had weapons that dealt more damage, they gave you better stats, you were able to take more hits, all that stuff back then. It didn't matter how good someone was with playing free. If someone who paid money had better gear than you could shoot them 12 times and they'll just be able to shoot you once and you're dead.
It's that kind of weird thing where it's like, I understand companies looking for more ways to improve the profits and stuff, but in a way it's like, to the player, it can be psychologically impacting to them, because what if they're not comprehending just the money? What if they think they're just that bad, and then they start pressuring them to put more money into that?
That was the debate that has gone on and is still going on to this day about loot boxes.
Yeah. And it's just like they're adding more and more. It's just like, it feels like, I mean, I've been on and off of gaming for a while. I'll be played, then I'll take breaks, and play it. Like recently, as I got back into buying Switch and everything. It just kind of like, but it's just kind of like, it feels like that's the point. I'm like, I don't want to play it if I'm going to put more money into it. I play games to relax, or if I had a bad day or didn't make a lot of money at work or something like that. It's something I own to relax, not be more stressed out.
Yeah, that is definitely a thing. Just wait till you get to the raids in Warframe. Then you'll be stressed.
I'll just stick, grinding lore stuff forever and ever.
Yeah, just stick to grinding forever and never do the
raids. Hey, I got you a good amount of resources from my grinding. Like,
yeah. Oh, trust me, I could have filled up every single room, but I was just tired the day that I put all those rooms up.
Yeah, no, I was just come back and one of them like, well, okay, I first do this. I'll do the crits the next thing. I'm like, wow, I gave him a lot of shit.
Yeah. But definitely when I think the line for monetization is when the value of what you're paying for influences gameplay rather than cosmetics.
Agreed.
And what they've shown for Anthem so far, and said
they're not going that path.
They're not going that path. They said, "Hey, we fucked up before. We're not doing it again.
But
we're gonna put our monetization.
You do understand
only on making ourselves look good."
It's EA. Well, it's EA doing through another developer, correct? Let me look at that.
Let me look it up.
Because the thing was EA, they had that reputation. Like, if you don't meet that quota, you're dead. Like, they closed down. I forgot the studio name, but the ones who made Dead Space. They closed down the ones that made The Sims, and because Sims 4, not
that was
Sims 4,
Maxis.
Maxis, yeah.
Maxis Games.
Well, because Sims bombed because it was just bad and pushed out the door before it was finished, and then City Skylines came out, and blew them away. He's like, oh, there's a real city builder.
Yep. All right, so I can't believe I forgot this, but Anthem is being made by BioWare, creators of, Dragon Age.
Yeah, Dragon Age.
And
Star Wars, not Galaxies, I was never a Star Wars person, but the Knights of the Old Republic, I think?
Yep.
Okay, that's
the
what it
old
was. I remember that was a big one that everybody's like, oh, that's a badass game.
And then they're also behind Mass Effect.
Yeah, and that whole fuck up.
Yeah.
Andromeda.
So Andromeda got messed up because of EA's interventions and all that stuff.
I just like the bad animations.
Yeah. Well, like they rushed it out. They definitely were trying to, get it out as fast as possible. But Anthem, I feel this is gonna be the game that actually says, "Hey, we put a lot of care into it. We put a lot of work into it. We're not trying to make it a monetization cash grab. We're gonna put cosmetics out there. They're gonna be things you want to wear. Not some of them might be locked behind a paywall, but if it's just cosmetic, I ain't mad."
Yeah, well, EA just needs to back the fuck off. Just
EA
support it. You're making profits. Stop changing things.
Yeah. They also made, EA did push out, what was it? The prison game. What was that one called?
Was it recent or a while ago?
It was recent. I believe it was.
Because I know Just Cause 4 dropped. Well, no, I don't think it's about them. What's that prison game? Prison Break game?
Yeah, it was a prison break game.
A Way Out.
A Way Out.
I remember watching this. Or I was watching some playthroughs of that.
So, they let A Way Out go out with no monetization, but here's the kicker: they allowed it so that if you had one copy of the game, you could basically play it with someone who didn't have a copy of the game. Because on PS4, Xbox One, PC, what you would do is you would use the Origin launcher or just have your console on, and you would send an invite to your friend to play the game, and they would have to download a small portion of the game, not
cool.
the full game, and they'd be able to play the game with you without having to pay the $40 for A Way Out. So basically, when you bought it, you got 2 copies of it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching a couple playthroughs. It looked really interesting, the whole mechanics of it working together like that.
Yeah, so that was really good, and that was this year. That was this year that EA was like, "Hey, we're gonna give you 2 games for the price of 1. We're trying to make up for what we've been doing over the past few years."
I mean, Black Ops 4 hasn't been that negative of a reaction. I think Battlefield 4 kind of topped it. Battlefield 5, actually.
Battlefield 5. Oh yeah, that one's great. Dead community already.
Yeah, because Black Ops 4 doesn't really. I mean, it's actually not that bad gameplay from looking at it. Granted, I played Black Ops a long time ago. I'm good. I don't need to go back. But for people like that kind of action games, it seems like good shooting, good team death matches, interesting like that.
Yeah, Black Ops does look very fun with their game modes. I've seen lots of gameplay where people are just having fun, and it looks fun.
And there's the zombies, which personally I find I get boring after a while, but people like that. Yeah, of course, they made it interesting because it's all like mixed. It's not just the zombies in World War II. It's like all mixed time periods. I remember seeing some. I think it was like I was watching the Yogcast as like Shannon and Duncan. They were playing in the tournaments, like the gladiator pits, and like that's like really fucking hilarious because it's all futuristic and gladiator pits. And it's like you can do guns. It's like a good mix of guns, power ups.
And different abilities and all.
And of course, everybody fucks up to use the nuke at the wrong time. Because I've seen like so many videos, people just kind of grabbing a nuke when they means they're already dead.
I just got my kill streak, trying to drop a nuke as soon as possible. No, they're responding. Oops. So, I think that is all the news now. Unless anything happened while we were talking, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
All right, so this has been a great year for gaming in my eyes. I got a whole bunch of exclusives that came out on PlayStation that I loved. Spider-Man, God of War, great games. Also got to play Monster Hunter.
Yeah, so the God of War thing was surprising because it looked like it's actually really. Because people were like, is this gonna be a bad reboot, remake? But it's like
The
it was
huge,
new but old and.
but it wasn't old, but it was new.
But okay,
It was like
it was nostalgic in a way.
It was nostalgic because we got to return to Kratos, see this brutal action.
Yeah, especially when you got the I forget what the weapons are called, the chain weapons.
God, what are those called? The chains of...
Hades? No. Anyways, but it's like once you went back to you play the classic God of War thing. Sorry, that's weird.
The chain... The... What? Chains of Olympus.
Chains of Olympus.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like watching you playing the game with with power ups and axe was pretty cool, and then you went to back to old school kind of God of War smash them up, but you're like, I'm actually doing watching this.
But so it was great. It wasn't the same old gameplay, but it was very nostalgic of it. It wasn't just a beat 'em up that was you could play this blindfolded, just mash buttons and all that good stuff. It felt really nice. Spider-Man, web slinging and web swinging were amazing. My only gripe with that game was, the Arkham fighting system. I will always refer to that as the downfall of gaming. I hate the Arkham system. How do you feel about it?
Sorry, please texting. Sorry, what game is that?
Spider-Man, how it has the Arkham fighting system where you press
it's
square to punch, triangle to use some kind of special ability, and circle to dodge.
I mean, it's there. It's Arkham system work for the superhero games.
Yep. But how do you feel about it being in almost every single action game?
It is getting a little bit old, but then again, fighting the tools for action games weren't always that great.
I mean, like, I feel, this is my own personal preference, that Dynasty Warriors has a really nice action, system, a mixture of square and triangle combos to be able to pull off, cool little moves and stuff. And if you want to dodge, you press X, but you don't get this like giant notification, press circle right now to dodge perfectly.
Yeah.
Or a flash of light or something that says...
Yeah, I never liked the kind of, what was it, the real-time events. Because it was okay in Resident Evil 4. Okay, it worked because that game was totally different. I played it in like the... I forgot what the first of the reboot Tomb Raiders was. And after a while, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yep. And another thing about Spider-Man, no Sam Raimi costume inside of any of the DLCs.
Sorry, go on. Just reply to text.
Sam Raimi costume. You remember that, right? The iconic Spider-Man costume from the Toby,
Oh,
Toby
the
age?
rubber kind of...
No, the like, you remember Spider-Man 2 where it was all like the raised web and looked really cool and stuff?
Yeah, it looked really cool. I'm hit and miss about it because it's such a different from the costume, but then it's still kind of same. It felt more modern for a Spider-Man costume.
Yeah, that was like the whole thing about it. It was a modern take on Spider-Man.
You're not just a cloth.
Yeah,
I mean,
it wasn't just the, hey guys, it's a, basically like a swimsuit with red and black webbing on it with blue pants and a spider symbol slapped on there. It was, hey, this suit has this raised webbing, looks more tactile, looks more real than just cloth. Which...
Plus, the other cool thing about that was they actually threw a lot of callbacks to other suits and everything, too.
Yeah, there were a lot of suits included.
They didn't do the Secret Wars suit, did they?
The Secret Wars suit?
What was the predecessor to what became Venom? The whole symbiote symbiote. God damn it, I don't remember pronounce that word right. So many people fight over it.
It was indeed inside of there. The black, red, and blue Secret War suit.
No, the old black one.
I am not knowing which one you're talking about because this is the one we got.
Okay, no, that's a different one. And what we're alluding to is one back in like the 70s or early 80s. The old black suit.
Are you talking about like Spider-Man Noir?
No.
I do not know what you are talking about then.
We need a better way of showing stuff. I need a way to throw things on there.
I am not too versed in Spider-Man.
I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man, but I'll show you.
Okay, here's another one.
Close to that.
Close to this. Man, I'm showing you so many Spider-Man suits and you're saying not a single one.
That one.
Oh, the black suit.
Yeah. The OG black suit.
The OG black suit. I believe that is not inside of the game.
Because you know the story of that one, right?
Actually, wait. Is it?
I imagine it was, because that's like one of
It's a hidden black suit.
Yes. Because that was the... Because the idea was... It's kind of like a legend, and there's ways to correct it. I don't know the full correct story, but basically the guy... They had some kind of contest idea for a Spider-Man costume, or change it up, and this guy said just an old black suit, and they paid him $2 the rights, whatever. And story-wise, that's what the symbiote was, basically, it was an alien little thing that took completely in his body. And I think the story was like he was in the for Spider-Woman's costume because she had an old black costume. So that was his old black costume, and that lasted for a while until they got rid of it. And then later on in the 90s, they used that backstory for the whole Venom. And that's how you get Venom, Carnage, all the symbiotes. It's kind of interesting how they went back reused it.
Nice. Also talking about Monster Hunter, I guess this is kind of news that I forgot to drop. The new DLC has been announced. Iceborne, which will be the first DLC expansion that you have to pay for inside of Monster Hunter. All previous DLCs have been free, aside from getting like emotes and stickers and all that. Those have been, you pay for like an emote, sticker, cosmetic, and all that stuff. But Iceborne will be a full expansion with new monsters, new areas, new armors, new weapons, and new moves. And I'm looking forward to it.
Interesting. Monster Hunter has never interested me.
Monster Hunter never interested you? Did you play the new one?
No.
It's different. Do you like Dark Souls?
No.
Oh well, then it's a little easier than Dark Souls, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's like Dark Souls. Mess around a bit, but I'm like, nah, I'm never buy this because I don't need frustration. I don't want to pay for frustration.
Well, you see, Monster Hunter isn't frustrating once you get to the certain point where you're just like, oh man, I'm just gonna go up to this giant ass monster and shoot it with a gun. It's one of my like cooldown games where I'm like, I'm gonna go in, use my big ass weapon, and slap down some damage. Oh, look,
it works.
I killed this big ass thing. It's like 20 times bigger than my dude, and he took it down with, a bagpipe. Yeah, Hunting Horde is awesome.
See, let's talk about this year in gaming. The whole like Fortnite on Switch has been interesting.
Oh yeah, Fortnite has been a huge event for this year.
I'm kind of sick of it personally, after especially the whole YouTube Rewind shit. But
oh man, YouTube Rewind, that was is it the most disliked video?
Yeah, it beat Justin Bieber's 10 million dislikes. I joined them.
Oh my god, that's it, guys. YouTube has proven that they have disconnected from their community so far that they made a video worse than Justin Bieber's baby.
The problem is they went too commercial, and a lot of the stuff that. Okay, it was nice that they spoke about mental health and all that, right, and inclusion.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that in the kind of commercial thing, it didn't come across that way. It came across as forced to get as a product.
What?
And
the whole point of YouTube Rewind is to look back
Celebrate.
at the past year, celebrate everything that's happened through the year, and then what ended up happening was some of the biggest channels like PewDiePie
screwed up.
PewDiePie, did he screw up this year? I don't think he did anything bad.
I think
this
it's,
year.
but still from last year, they're just not touching him.
Last year was a big deal, but
Logan,
this year
Logan Paul's this year. Or
Logan
Jake,
Paul,
Jake, whatever. One of the fuckers.
The Pauls were a huge deal this year. They've been a huge deal every single year because they just controversy. But how can you have a rewind about your entire platform where the most paid person who has the most followers in the world has the biggest audience, and you don't even ask for him to just have a little cameo?
No.
Nope, he gets.
But you got Will Smith.
Oh, but you got Will Smith.
And then random, like, was
Marquise.
No, Marquise. I like Marquise.
Or, as they say, Marquez.
Marquez. Or MKBHG, but he's cool and he's honest about his parts. So him and Casey Neistat are both like, yeah, we filmed a lot of good stuff, but they didn't use it, and a lot of stuff just came off as cringe. But what was it? They had like random talk show hosts.
Yeah, they.
But their clips air on YouTube, but they never actually contributed to a YouTube.
Yeah, there was definitely a huge disconnect between the community of YouTube and YouTube's own staff for what they wanted to put inside the video, and
I think it's also at the local level too. I think it was also a producer that made the decision during editing, because from what I've also been hearing, the directors and the crew had a totally different vision. But something happened on that editing room floor where someone made the executive call and the editor just went that way and it came out bad. So I've been in that situation. You're high pressure editing, you're trying to get it right, and you got a producer breathing down your neck.
The video will be done when it will be done.
It's just like it. From editing perspective, is well done. It just was shit.
I mean, when you're gonna release something like this that's supposed to represent the company as a whole, you should probably ask people who are in it. Hey, does this sound good? Which
is funny also because they're like, we're involved the community to deal with the fucking comments. I'm like, pause, look at the comments. Nope, they don't agree.
Yeah. Tons of mess ups on there on YouTube's part. That was wow.
But when you're trying to appeal to advertisers, you're gonna piss off your audience.
That is indeed true.
So we got topic gaming.
Hey, we're not just gaming; we're nerd culture as a whole.
Yeah. We got another fabulous release from Wolfenstein 2, which I played a little bit on Switch. It's a little more slower, I think. I think the Panic Button didn't do a great job, but still awesome to do. They do their work.
Hey, Panic Button does their best, and their best sometimes doesn't hit the frames that we need, but hey,
still better than we hadn't passed.
They managed to get all kinds of things in there with code magic. That's the only way I can explain it.
Well, it's basically they'll still like start down-resing some things and playing some tricks in the background.
Down-resing some things, making things load in a specific way. It's pretty spectacular how they work the code so that it'll work on the limited power of the Switch, which I gotta applaud them for that.
Yeah. Because they could have been, because Japanese had the streaming service for Switch. Which I would be interested in, but at the same time, I was like, I don't know if I played all the time.
Yeah. I mean, a PlayStation Now, Xbox, Game Pass kind of deal on the Switch wouldn't be too bad in my ideas.
Let them fix their online service first, then get to that.
Well, yeah, Nintendo fixed their online service. They're way behind in the game. They don't know how to do online service. It's been proven that throughout these years, we have yet to see any semblance of even PS3 or Xbox One
Not even
category.
old school Xbox. Be
Yeah,
honest.
like, well, yeah, that's what I meant. Old school Xbox.
Yeah, that's weird to say, but yeah.
Yeah, old school Xbox, original Xbox. They don't even have that quality of like an internet space, which is sad. I mean, on the original Xbox, you could, put actual cameras on, and that like you'd be able to be like, hey, I could see my friend while we're playing Uno on there.
Yeah.
But now on the Switch, we don't even have voice capabilities put inside first party games. We gotta use a phone.
Which is weird.
That is completely weird. I will never understand Nintendo's thought process. Some games do have the ability to...
Yeah, like Fortnite does. As I described before, Warframe does, unfortunately.
You just gotta turn it off on Warframe. Pugs will never be worth listening to.
God, that kid. Those over here. Why do we lose?
Why did you lose? Because you're not using Frost. You're not using Rhino.
No. It was a time mission. He just decided to go hunting for loot and just call everybody to go stand and look at the loot. I don't understand what happened. Look at him like, what the? Okay, fuck it, I'm out. Bye.
If it's a timed mission, that means that the place is probably self-destructing, which means get the heck out. When you see that, hey, everyone's gonna die.
But to be fair, I only joined maybe a minute before this other thing happened. I was joining while they're in the middle because I think someone else I had enough of the shit left.
Also, I gotta say, panic button, getting Warframe to run on the Switch,
and runs really well.
It runs amazing.
You have to tweak the settings a bit.
I tweaked the settings a lot of bit.
Because I remember when I first started playing, everything's just going past me. Like, what the fuck is... I have no idea what the hell's going on.
First things first, turn off motion blur. That makes every game better. Some people like it. I absolutely abhor it.
Let's see. What's so good in gaming?
Other gaming news that happened this year. Tons of indies have come out that have encompassed everyone's favorite styles of gameplay.
Got a lot of good indies on the Nindies on the Switch.
Nindies.
And there's a lot of crap on the Switch too.
Also, Stardew Valley got its multiplayer update.
Oh yeah. I haven't played Stardew in a while.
Now you can play it with friends.
I don't know if I want to start a farm of friends.
Hey, you don't want to grow corn together?
I will go play if Connor plays so I can just trash his farm. I'm like, oh, you needed that?
I'm pretty sure that Connor is just gonna
rage at me.
He'll be like, I'm gonna kick you off my farm, destroy your house. But yeah, that tons of great things, and we've seen huge strides in mobile gaming over the past year, where now we have games that actually
Fortnite and PUBG.
Fortnite and PUBG, of course. They're like,
which is funny because I think that go back to Connor's rant. You pay for the PC version, but the mobile version is free and exactly the fucking same.
Yeah, these mobile games are now looking just as good as last generation's version of console games.
We're getting to the point where phones are more powerful and more affordable. I mean, because you got your higher tier phones, your lower tier phones, your mid tier, but now it's not the mid tier and low tier actually have a little more power within them.
Our cutting edge phones, like the Pixel 3, the S9, and all that stuff, they look amazing while playing like Fortnite and Hearthstone, PUBG, and all the other games that are slowly migrating to this full cross-play experience. And I definitely see that we're getting closer and closer to the death of consoles, which it does sadden me.
I mean, that most would say death PC gaming too, if it's going that route.
PC gaming's in a big trouble because of shadow gaming. I don't know if you heard of that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Shadow. I mean, I like the concept, but then I'm afraid of the concept. I mean, it's nice for me. It's a Mac, so I'm like, okay, cool. I can just stream it.
Yeah, you can just stream gaming.
Because, it's like you're kind of on that front if you want that hardware, or you want the OS, you want that ecosystem. You kind of shafted sometimes the hardware-wise, at least with graphical power. And also, as much as they're trying with Metal, and I forgot what the one's called from macOS, but it's just not quite near the level of DirectX. It works great. It's just not near the level you can get from a DirectX with a great graphics card.
Yeah, but Shadow is slowly making it so that the need to buy parts for your home PC slowly going away, because now you can just get a a Shadow uplink, and then next thing you know, you've got a 2070 RX.
I'm speaking from this front too,
demand.
from someone who does does editing and photoshopping and stuff like that. I don't see that. I don't know if I want to use Shadow for that. Granted, you could probably get some good, powerful shit done. But I think it's something about you having it in your home, not because if you're internet connected out, you have nothing to work with. If you're internet connected out, you don't have a game to work with.
Well, in that regards, you build your workplace PC, basically. You make a PC that's based off of having a heavy workload, and then you have your Shadow gaming, and while everything's rendering on your work PC, you switch over to the Shadow one. All your PC is handling now is decoding the image.
Yeah.
So you've got your work PC, which work PC parts are completely different than gaming PC parts, because if you look at like the different graphics cards, if you use a work graphics card, it's made more for rendering and all that stuff.
And their work process, I understand that, but some people do use them for both.
Yeah, but you definitely see the trade-off when you're using work parts for actually content creating versus gaming stuff. Especially with what they've released about the 20 series for NVIDIA, it's definitely more geared towards rendering video games and all that stuff, and less about the workload performance on non-gaming functions. So it's gonna be like a little balance of, do I want the work parts so I could just set this over here, it'll render for an hour, look nice, and then have all that extra computer to play my games.
Good point.
All right, that about wraps up our show for tonight.
It kind of feels weird without Connor here.
Yeah, it definitely feels weird without Connor here.
Stupid Connor. Go to Vegas.
Stupid Connor.
Didn't invite us, asshole.
Yeah, you just told me you're going to Vegas and said, hey, guys, I don't know if you want to do the show tonight, but I'm like, I want to do this show. I look forward to the show every week.
Stupid Connor.
But we will see you next year.
Are we not doing one next week? Because next week is the 29th. No. We got 2 more shows before the end of the year, dude.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, because the 22nd, then 29th. You're trying to end the show like, oh, we're done.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, 2 more shows. I got mixed up on my days. This is what happens when
you've been through Christmas, apparently.
I'm apparently thinking it's Christmas, and it'll be like, God. Yeah. This is what happens when you do warehouse work and you don't see the sun ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so not being able to see the sun makes it so you don't know what day it is. We will see you next week with more gaming news and more stories.
See you guys.
Have a good night.